fight alone will make us rich beyond our wildest dreams.
All myths are foundations of reality, and all podcasts are not the Disenfranchised Podcast. We're the podcast all about those franchises of one, those films that fancied themselves full-fledged franchises but falling flat on their face after the first film. I'm your host, Brett Wright, not Steven. Steven is on assignment tracking down the Ark of the Covenant. But with me in his stead is the man who is too stubborn to tap out. It's Tucker. Hi, Tucker.
Hello, Brett. Wait, no. That was wrong. It sounded like hello, nurse. Like I was catcalling you. I think I'm catcalling Brett. I'm sorry.
You want to take it again? You want to take it again?
No. I'm gonna stay by it. You know, that was my first instinct. You know, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I liked it.
Yeah, it was good. It was a little too hello, nurse for me.
Look, it's fine. We can't all be me.
That's true.
That's true.
If we were, there'd be no podcast because they'd just be thinking your thoughts. We'd all be thinking your thoughts, Brett. Would be like the John Malkovich movie. Being John Malkovich. We'll go in the little door and then we're inside Brett.
Exactly like
Brett,
that.
Brett.
No, nobody wants that. Believe me. You don't want to be anywhere in this brain. Let me tell you that right now.
I don't know. I'd take it for a test drive. See what's up. You know,
it's fucking dark in there. Yeah,
That's
my Psychonauts level would be real dark.
Whoa, I didn't play that game,
dude. You fucking should.
It's rad as shit. They did a sequel very recently.
Psychonauts is in my top 5 games of all time.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Which is crazy that I never played the sequel.
That is crazy. It's still there. It exists.
Yeah,
still,
I could go play it.
What's keeping you? What's keeping you from it?
I don't
haven't
know.
Got there yet?
That's a good question. I kind of forget that it exists because it wasn't a major release. They
on Game Pass.
It. Oh, well, that's cool.
No, Game Pass. I think it's still on Game Pass.
Yeah, they kickstarted it. It took them like 5 years to make, and then it came out, and that's it. There was no fanfare. There was no like, "Hey, Psychonauts 2 is out. It's a thing you can play now." It was just
yay! No confetti, like no streamers,
none of that.
Wow!
It came out to like mediocre reviews. I think I was like, "Well, I can wait to play that."
I'll tell you what, though. Maybe not as much as you think, though, because I know that Psychonauts is a thing that exists. I don't know what it is. It's not in my periphery. Like, I got no dogs in that race. But I did know the second one was coming out at least a few months before it came out. Just through, like, advertising on the Xbox dashboard and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's cool. It might have came out as an Xbox exclusive to start with, which is maybe why I didn't play it.
Maybe. Maybe.
Yeah. And why I didn't know it was a thing. But your enjoyment of it will depend heavily on if you like third-person collectathon games.
Oh, kind of like a Donkey Kong 64 sort of thing?
Yeah, your Banjo-Kazooies, your Donkey Kong 64s, your Conker's Bad Fur Days.
Donkey Kong 64 is kind of evil, though, because it's just good enough so that you don't hate it, but like it gets you addicted, but then it gets really incessantly like annoying with how many things you have to get and how many times you have to go back to the same area with different Kongs. And I've beaten it before, but not because I wanted to, because I felt like I had to.
Yeah, Donkey Kong 64 is notorious for how shitty it is.
It's insane. I don't think I have ever played a game with that many collectibles in my life, nor do I ever want to.
Yeah, see, Psychonauts does not have that many collectibles, but it does have a very funny story, a very interesting story.
Wait, it's the guy, though, right? Who does the games? He's, he did, yeah, that guy. No, he did, what's the one with Jack Black, and he's the metalhead guy?
Oh, yeah,
Double Fine, that's the
Double
company,
Fine's
right?
company. Yeah,
that guy has been making games forever.
Yes,
Forever.
he's a very funny dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
It's
main
like he's kind
character
of his
is
own genre when it comes to tone of games, I'd say.
yeah, but he hasn't really done anything since Psychonauts 2. Just
What's
sad.
that guy's name?
Tim Kring,
Oh, Tim something.
Tim Krieg, Tim Kring, Tim Krang,
Maybe.
something.
Something like that.
Yeah,
You're close, Brett. You're close.
yeah. It's his name is rattling around in here somewhere. But no, yeah, go play it, man. It's great.
Okay.
It's funny.
Okay.
It's really cool. You go inside people's brains, and each different world is what their psyche is like. So
It's going to be a while, though, Brett, because I'm currently addicted. Like hardcore addicted. So hardcore addicted that I started the movie late tonight and I almost was like, let's just do it Wednesday because I want to keep playing this game. Brett, I've been playing Kingdom Two Crowns.
yeah,
You heard
you told
about
me
this?
about
You
it.
seen this?
Tell me
You
about it
seen
last
the
week.
Kingdom Two Crowns?
Tell me about it last week. Yeah.
Holy shit. I'm addicted. I'm straight up addicted.
All right.
And I've cleared 3 islands. There are 5 in the main game. I'm getting there. I was struggling on the 4th island for a while, but I'm getting it. I'm getting it.
All right.
Yeah.
Partner and
And
I
then
are still waist deep in Baldur's Gate 3. So
there's different versions of Kingdom. Like there's expansions for Two Crowns that change like the settings and like little parts of the game. And there's even one called Kingdom 80s. Did I tell you about this already?
no, not this part.
It's like a Stranger Things sort of deal where your kids on bikes instead of like medieval soldiers and stuff.
Oh.
But there's many different variations of it, and I'm on board. I'm way on board. Like I can't stop playing this game. It's got the loop is it's hard. I don't know that I've ever got every time. Now that I've said every word in the English language, let me say what I want to say. Every time I stop playing this game, it's not because I want to. I could comfortably live life just existing and playing this game.
You can just morph into your couch, controller in hands.
And you know what I love about it, and a lot of people hate about it, is that it leads you in the right direction, but it doesn't tell you what to do. You have to figure everything out from the beginning. And normally I don't like that, but I like how intuitive it is to start figuring things out. Yeah, I quite enjoy it. And, after I finish this, I think I'm going to have to, before I do another Kingdom game, I might have to play that first. Tomb Raider reboot. That's right, Brett. We're here to straight up talk about 2018's Tomb Raider movie, dude. And it's written by a whole bunch of people. Geneva Robertson Dwaret, Alistar Siddons, Evan Daughtry, Susan O'Connor, and Rihanna Pratchett are the people who wrote this film.
A lot of writers.
A lot of people. Directed by Roar Uthog. His first name is Roar. R-O-A-R. Well, he's from somewhere. Norwegian. He's from Norwegia. It's where he hails from.
I mean, that doesn't make it any better. I mean, I don't want to be culturally insensitive, but Roar still sounds like a...
He made a movie called Troll, but not that Troll.
Oh, not the good Troll?
Is
it the found footage Troll?
No. I don't think it's that one. No, this is 2022. I know which one you're talking. That's called Troll Hunter, my friend.
Oh, okay.
Troll Hunter. Looks like he's directed a Doritos commercial, which is tight. The rest of this looks like Norwegian stuff. Nothing that I've heard of. But boy, I'll bet that was a good... Now I want some Doritos. I want to play Tomb Raider, and I want to eat Doritos. But, you'd think I want to drink Mountain Dew because video games, but I had a little bit of Mountain Dew at work the other day, and I don't drink soda that often. So once a week at work, since I have soda fountain at my work, I'll get a soda, and usually I get Pepsi. But I got Mountain Dew, and it just tasted like it just kind of tasted
liquid
like
sugar.
chemicals. Like
Yeah,
sugar
well,
and chemicals. I gotta
sugar and
have Code
chemicals.
Red at least. Like standard Mountain Dew, no thanks. Especially
Either
from
give
the
me.
fountain.
It's got to be Code Red or Baja Blast. Those are the only 2 Mountain Dews I touch.
Did I tell you why I can't do Baja Blast, Brett?
I don't think so.
Well, you know the sauce that's on the cheesy gordita crunch? I think they call it like a jalapeno ranch or something now.
Of course, it's the
They
best
used to
item on the
call
menu.
it
Of course I do.
they used to call it Baja sauce, Brett. They used to call it Baja sauce. So when
And
Mountain Dew Baja Blast came out,
your
I was
brain
like,
couldn't reconcile too.
I can't do it. No. Like I can do green ketchup, but like the only thing I know that tastes like Baja is that jalapeno ranch. I don't even know what a motherfucking Baja is. I don't know if that's an object or like a state of mind or what it is.
There's a place down in Mexico, I think.
Okay, all right. Okay, but still, I don't want some jalapeno ranch taste of Mountain Dew, Brett. And I know it doesn't taste like that. People have told me,
No,
but I
it's
still
delicious.
will. It will never pass through my lips. Now I will still continue to eat cheesy gordita crunches with potatoes instead of meat.
Fuck yeah, it's the best item
Oh,
on the
it's
menu.
really
I will
good.
reiterate, it's the best item on the menu. I'll pay
And
that premium price for it. God damn it,
dude, yes. And you know what? I had when I was eating meat there for some months, I had a cheesy gordita crunch, like a proper one, and it's pretty good. But I think I've gotten so used to the potatoes that I prefer the potato ones now.
I mean, I'm a regular meat eater, and I kind of want to try it with potatoes now. I think that might be
It's
pretty fucking
so
good.
good, dude. Anything on that menu, replace the meat with potatoes, dude. Ooh, it's good. It's real good. But anyway,
Yeah, well, you know what else is
Mountain
real
Dew.
good? This cast is pretty good.
Yeah, but we were talking about Mountain Dew for a reason. Why are we talking about? Oh,
Doritos.
because I wanted to eat Doritos. Yes. Okay. So it stars this movie, this Tomb Raider movie from 2018 that we watched. Stars Alicia Vikander, our boy Dominic West from the motherfucking Wire, Brett. Your boy Jimmy, not my boy Jimmy, but your boy Jimmy from the Wire. You know.
I don't. I never watched The Wire,
Oh,
but carry on.
that's too bad because like he's one of those British actors, Dominic West, just like the guy who plays Hap in Hap and Leonard, who is just extremely British, but you would never be able to tell because the dude from Hap and Leonard does a really good like Louisiana accent, and Dominic West does a fantastic Baltimore accent. So when I hear him talk in his natural accent, I'm like, it's like when Christian Bale talks in his Welsh accent. You're like, no, thank you. You're not the same guy anymore. Like, get out of my fucking face. What's wrong with you?
Talk normal. What are you doing?
Yeah, talk normal. This is weird. This is weird. And I've seen him in movies where he's British too. Both of these guys, all three of these guys, and yeah, but Dominic West is the shit. I think he was fine in this. He knew what movie he was in. Walton Goggins as well. Daniel Wu, Kristen Scott Thomas, Derek Jacobi, Alexandre William. I wasn't saying that silly. It's Willaume. So William is how I assume it's pronounced. Tamer Burjack, Adrian Collins, Keenan Arison, Adrian Maziv, Milton Shore, Hannah John Kamen, Peter Wason. I don't think he listed. There was somebody though. That guy's a Pothwaite. Who was in this movie? It was towards. Oh yeah, our boy Nick Frost is in this movie.
Oh yeah.
He's the pawnbroker. He shows up again at the end, and that's when spoilers for Brett, who didn't finish the movie. That's when Lara gets her signature fucking double pistolas, dude, from that pawn shop.
Makes me so angry.
It was really cool. It
No.
was really cool.
You know what was really fucking cool? How they did it in the games. Anyway, let's carry on. What a cast!
What a cast!
What a
Straight
picture!
up, what a on the Disenfranchised podcast. It seems like it's a divisive picture this time because it wasn't anything special. But as a fan of the game, I appreciated how it was pretty much just a live action cinematic. It was video game storytelling, and the script was about as strong as most video games of this ilk. And I think
But
I
for
think
all
they
the
did an okay
ridiculous
job with it.
fluff they added to it that did nothing to the story and only
Look,
made Laura less of a character. Is that what you mean?
20 minutes. Look, the first 20 minutes before they get on the island, no thanks. But it is kind of necessary. I don't think they did it as well as
No,
they could have.
it isn't
But I think
necessary at all.
I
No,
think the
you know
second
what
and
would have been
third
cool
act.
is if there were the
What?
6 other fucking characters that were on that ship with her in the game that they could have explored.
TV
And
show. If you can bring those guys, you need a TV show. There's not enough time for all those guys.
Then it should have been a TV
That's
show.
why you just get the boat guy and dad.
The boat guy isn't even in the games anywhere. The boat
That's
guy
fine. Sometimes
is just
you
made
get
for this movie. No, they just
Yeah.
needed a love interest in this fucking movie is what they needed.
they
Because
don't
Laura
they don't love.
look, man, you know.
They don't love.
They would have explored that in a sequel. You know.
Maybe. Straight up maybe.
Look, they would have. You know they would have.
I don't know. After they leave the island, he's not around. There's a little bit of an epilogue. After he does help her get off the island. But like only her and her dad are in the tomb with Walton Goggins and his boys, like Homeboy and all the other escaped slaves, like straight up Temple of Doom. All the escaped slave children. All the escaped slaves. They help him find her after the tomb collapses. They be raiding some tombs in this. I'm telling you, Brett. Like it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't anything special, but I was entertained, especially as a fan of the game. Maybe want to play the game. There were so many instances, and I'm the kind of guy who is sniffing out that fan service when it doesn't feel natural. But a good portion of this just felt like straight up remade cutscenes from that first game. And action set pieces as well. And I really enjoyed how they translated it. Does that mean they did it well? I don't know. Maybe. I just know that I enjoyed it. I was entertained and I wasn't offended as a fan of the reboot trilogy.
Well, I guess inside of us all are two wolves. And one person is a fan of the games and thought this movie was okay, and another one is a fan of the games and thought this movie was terrible.
But let's explore that, Brett. We might be able to get to the bottom of that by talking about our experiences with this franchise, this game franchise, and this film franchise, even because there are other Tomb Raider movies.
That's true.
So let's start with you, Brett. What's your history with this franchise as a whole, this multimedia franchise?
And your boy has been playing Tomb Raider since Laura's boobs were triangular pixels.
Oh, shit.
When Laura was over-sexualized to an extreme degree. Giant
massive
titties.
Breasts.
Yeah, just my God.
And then I understand why they got Angelina Jolie to play her in those first two movies, because that's like her face, just like those eyes and like the big lips. Like
I didn't care for the Angelina Jolie movies either, because they were even worse with the source material. So
word.
Yeah.
Word.
Because that was the, what is that, early 2000s? Late 90s, early 2000s?
Yeah, I remember they had the ride at Kings Island, and it was late 90s that Paramount owned Kings Island, so it would have had to been late 90s. I would look it up if I weren't in the middle of taking a shot, Brett.
Sure, fair enough. I'll continue while you take your shot. I lost the plot on what I was going to say there. No,
you were talking about the original movies.
Yeah, the late 90s were the early days of video game adaptations.
For sure.
Where most of them were definitely written by somebody that I don't know if Wikipedia was as popular back then, but the best way to put it is written by somebody who read the Wikipedia article on the game they're writing for.
2001 and 2003, Brett.
Okay, there we go. That makes sense.
Close enough.
It is, yeah. Because it's a product of the time.
For sure.
The same sort of the same way we talk about superhero movies around that same time. Just people who didn't understand the source material and were just trying to cash in on the name. We've come a long way since then. Shout out to Last of Us Season 2, which is just released a trailer for Season 2
Oh, word. I never
yesterday.
played that game, so I haven't
They're
watched
great,
the
man.
show.
They're the height of video game storytelling.
I
And
figure, though, I don't want to watch the show before I don't know if I'm ever going to play the game, but I don't want to watch the show before I play the game, because if I do experience that story, I want it to be interactive.
Sure. The show is different enough from the game that I think you could get away with it. But I mean,
Word.
that's your prerogative.
I have a PS4, so how many? I could play all of them, right? There's only 2 of them, right? I could
Yeah,
play
there's only
both of
2.
them on the PS4, right?
Yeah,
Sweet.
I think. Yeah,
I'll probably get a 5 at some point, because I gotta play that other Spider-Man. It's probably when the 6 comes out, I'll get a 5 so I can play that other Spider-Man.
yeah. There you go.
I can wait.
And also shout out to Fallout, who Walton Goggins is also in.
Yeah, dude.
It's a fantastic. I've seen some shots of the filming of season 2 of Fallout, and
I'm so excited. I'm
the
so glad I
fucking
liked that show, Brett, because that's the thing is, like, I've always really enjoyed the story, and I liked the original games before they became Bethesda first-person RPGs.
right.
And but I really don't like that style of Bethesda game. Like, even I tried the Indiana Jones game, and I was like, it's too Bethesda. Something about the way they do their games is just not for me. But always really liked the Fallout story.
Mm.
And in fact, I've just watched my friends play the other Fallout games. Like, I watched my roommate play Fallout 4, and back when New Vegas came out, I started playing New Vegas, and I was like, ugh, this is really interesting, but I don't want to play it, so I made my roommate play that so I could watch it.
Yeah, all
So
the
I'm
shots
really
I've
glad the
seen.
TV show was good, because I'm really interested in it. I just don't want to fucking play those games.
All the shots I've seen of the casinos from the strip, like the
Yeah?
sets. People have been leaking like pictures of the sets, so you get like the "Welcome to the Strip" like sign made of all like the sheet metal and shit, and
Nice.
the Lucky 38 sign and the Top sign and the Gamora sign. Like,
Yo, Brett, how come they haven't made, like, you know, the original games, the isometric ones,
mhm.
would be so easy to do as a mobile game. What the fuck? Bethesda owns the rights to continue making the series. Do they own the rights to the originals? Do you think? Because why hasn't
I'm
someone put
not
out a
sure.
fucking Fallout mobile game? You could very easily do those original games. Even Tactics. You could do Tactics on mobile easy. Real easy.
Maybe on an iPad. I can't imagine trying to play them on a
No.
phone.
Bethesda does own the rights to distribute those original games, because they're on Game Pass for PC.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
That's how I played them a couple years ago, because I hadn't played them in years, and then I found out that it was on Game Pass for PC, and I was like, holy shit. So I played the first 2 games. It's really fun. I didn't play Tactics. I want to. I just haven't gotten to it.
Well, Tactics
Yeah.
is what is it? Nebulous canon, I think is what you would call it.
Yeah.
That and the Brotherhood of Steel game are nebulous canon at best.
They're
So,
Elsewhere Worlds.
kind of.
Elsewhere Worlds.
Yeah.
I
mean,
mean,
they're
all that
Elseworlds
stuff, I guess.
a little bit. Yeah. But anyway,
That's
back to what I was
fantastic.
saying. Like
Yes, sorry.
the writing of those first Tomb Raider movies, not great. I just had a random memory of seeing the second Tomb Raider movie at the drive-in.
Yeah,
That's weird. I don't know why that memory popped
wild.
back into my head all of a sudden.
That's wild.
But yeah, like, so the writing of this movie hits a little bit like that, but just like, but like with a little bit more knowledge of the series and the games. Just because this movie takes the setup of the second game and plugs it into the setup of the first game.
Yeah, it's kind of a mashup, which I think is why the first act is so annoyingly just full of really stupid exposition. I think if they had just done just flat out done the first game, it changed a few things because it is an adaptation. Like the word, you're not just gonna do the exact same story, so you have to
I
adapt it a
mean,
bit. But
well, sure, I get that, I suppose, but like, why do you have to make Laura this like stubborn, down on her luck character? Like, were they afraid that if she was a successful archaeological college student with money, nobody would like her? They had to make her this down on her luck, stubborn, that doesn't want to take her dad's
yeah,
inheritance. Like,
no, I think that's kind of what they were doing because they want her to have money, but they don't want her to start out with money. I think they want you to feel a certain way about her before she has all that money so that you don't dislike her because she's so filthy rich, which is kind of dumb because like
yeah.
90% of movies are about rich white people anyway. So maybe
And
not
like,
rich on that level, but like, have you seen the houses those kids live in Scream? Damn.
what? Yeah, and what? That's it's funny. Well, I mean, look. I mean, TV shows like Friends. Like, you got.
Dude, yeah.
I mean, come
Where
on.
is their income coming from? How
Right.
are they affording these apartments?
There's no way.
I mean, I realize
Um,
there's like 4 of them in each apartment, but still,
yeah.
who's
So, but
working? Not
uh,
Joey.
no, he's a barely working actor
It's a
until he gets
fucking
that
bum.
regular series on a soap opera. But anyway, um, but like, you don't even have to mention it, really. Like, what would be wrong with her just starting as a successful archaeological student that like
I agree
is
with you,
is
Brett.
is researching this whole thing? Like, this is the problem that encapsulates what's wrong with a lot of failed franchises that we talk about all the time, is that they're trying to rush to cram so much into a story that they don't want to stretch it out. It's one of two things. It's either they rush through it thinking they're going to get a sequel, or they rush through it because they have to get it all into one movie.
The
Like,
first act of this movie, Brett, is a fucking mess.
absolutely,
Tonally,
which is why I
like,
maybe should have given the second half a chance, because I couldn't.
it's fun. The
The
action
first
looks
half,
good. Like the CG looks good. Even there are a few times I noticed they did a few like full body CG things during action parts, but like it was shot so well that you could barely notice it and it looked pretty good. And the practical shit looked really good. And it really captured once they got on the island, it really looked like and felt like and that first game especially because it's a lot
yeah,
more grounded. Because the second game, they're like you play the first game, the first reboot game, then you play the second one, and you're like, okay, they're gonna, okay, got it, all right, they're gonna go full supernatural. Like,
yeah,
all right, okay. At least they didn't do that. This is it's very nice that at the end it ends up not being supernatural. It's a plague. It's like it's a virus. That's what the mummy has. Like if you touch it, you have a virus. So yeah,
all right. Now I'm mad again. Because
yeah,
like,
dude.
it's supernatural in the games. It's
But
not.
what I'm telling you is there are a lot of implications that go along with the things that happen in that tomb to suggest that the supernatural does exist. And at the end of this movie, she's about to. It's just like the first game and the second game. Like I say, in the second game, they're like, "All right, just kidding. It's all real. Now you're swimming in blood, and there's these big, scary, possessed guys, and it's really fun." So that's why I would want to watch the sequel as well because they really kind of gear up for it.
See, what's crazy is I don't know what the sequel would have been about. Because like, the sequel is about her dad trying to find this, amulet of immortality or something like that,
So,
and the whole like Trinity group. And but like, they already sort of shoot their wad on that in this movie. So like, what does the sequel to this movie look like?
she's going after Trinity, dude.
That doesn't happen until the third game.
I understand this, and I never finished the third game. because the first two games were very, very straightforward. That's a really good segue into my experience with this franchise.
Oh yeah, we should get to your experience. I mean,
And may I finish my thought, excuse me, though, before I go back to the beginning of my experience. I don't remember what that thought was. Anyway, I never played any of the original games. I was a Saturn kid, and only the first Tomb Raider came to Saturn, and the port was shit. So I never played it. I never played any of those games, anything. I never engaged with the films because they look really stupid, like way too slick and flashy. And I really liked the ride at Kings Island. It was really, really rad. I wish they would have kept it open. But I played just on a whim because it was on sale when the first one came out for Xbox 360, the first reboot game. I played that and it blew my fucking mind because it was a lot like Uncharted, but like more of all of that stuff and better in a lot of ways. That first reboot game, Brett, boy, I tell you what, that's a good one.
like, I don't get me wrong, I
Good one.
love the first reboot game, but
Yeah.
the difference is it's more serious than Uncharted. I like the goofiness, the little sprinkle of Indiana Jones in Uncharted that Tomb Raider doesn't really have.
You know what? That just made me think of there are a lot of times as a player of the game, in the reboot games, there are some very grisly deaths. And sometimes they come from split second like reactions to things. And there were so many split second reactions that she had in this movie that I knew what the result was going to be if she hadn't made the right decision because I had played those games. And it like brings that up and you're like, oh fuck, I'm so glad she's okay. I've seen how that ends. I'm so glad she's fine. Holy crap.
Well, yeah, multiple times when she's in
When
the
she's going through the water, through the lake, you're like, oh, fuck. Be careful, please. I know how this
yeah,
ends.
yeah, I've seen her face impaled by a branch one too
Oh,
many times.
golly. Woof. It's rough.
Like,
It's rough.
yeah,
That poor gal.
and the way they ended, like, people made fun of them at the time for like how intensely they animated them. Like, it wasn't just like she gets impaled and dies. She's grasping at the branch and she's
Yeah.
choking and dying
Yeah.
and bleeding out before it says game over. Like, come on, guys.
It's rough.
Do you have to do that?
It makes you not want to die. Makes you want to get good. That's
Yeah,
what it
pretty
did for
much.
me.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, I get that. Like, the scene on the plane, which happened before I stopped watching.
Yeah,
The
dude.
or the rusted plane where I'm just like afraid of tetanus the whole time. Like, she's got a cut. She has tetanus. I don't
Hey,
care.
as long as she's had, according to OSHA, as long as she's had a tetanus shot in the last 5 years, she should be good.
Yeah, but who
She's
gets
probably
a
up
regular,
on that.
who gets a regular tetanus shot? Really,
I don't know.
a down
People
on
who
her
have
luck
cats.
woman like her, I don't think she would have been able to afford a regular
She
tetanus
had a
shot.
nice ass bike. When she was talking about how poor she was, I was like, "Well, your clothes look good. That's a nice ass motherfucking bike you got there.
Hard to believe.
That is a designer bag you have on as you're riding
Hard,
down the street on that really nice,
hard to
like
believe.
$5,000-$6,000 bike that you're
You
on."
sure you haven't taken a little bit of your inheritance? Are you sure? Maybe like
Yeah,
just a
man.
bit, maybe a little
Take a
bit.
couple checks, just a couple
Yeah,
checks,
just
get yourself
tiny bit.
started. Ah.
Yeah. No. Like, but real quick, like, the action scene with the plane almost kept me in the movie.
Yeah, it was good.
Walton Goggins shows up. I'm like, okay, I'm back in.
Yeah.
Then the scene with the plane, I'm like, okay, that action was pretty good. Felt like the game. I'm back in.
Yeah, dude.
And then her dad shows back up, and then I was like, fuck this, I'm gone. Like, it was,
Oh, I
her
thought it was.
dad
I
was there.
liked it. Well,
No,
number one, it's Dominic West. You don't have the Dominic West. You're not a
true.
fan.
Yeah.
And just to see him, I wouldn't say that he's hamming it up, but like I said before, he knows what movie he's in. He's giving the exact performance that he should be in this movie because it's a silly movie. The games are silly, like in a way that you have to kind of suspend your disbelief. Like some impossible shit is going to go down. So you have to kind of be ready for it. That's too bad, dude, because there's so many really cool set pieces after that, dude. Dude.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that in a minute. Well, let's go back to your history. Are you still?
Oh yeah, so I played the
Well,
second reboot game. It was really rad. Then the third reboot game, I got through the first part of it, and then you're like in this town or something, and you have to talk to people,
yeah, it's like a
and
hub
like
world.
I was like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to pew pew and climb and puzzle. Can I do that?
I want a Tomb Raid. Can you let me Tomb
It's
Raid,
like
please?
it's like no, you gotta talk to a guy and do a thing, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to a guy, man. I'm not trying to
Or
talk to
do
a
a thing.
dude. Man, did you finish the third one?
I don't think I ever played the third one.
I'm gonna give it another chance just because I don't know. I do a replay of the first two every couple years just because they're so rad.
The third one felt a lot like how I was just talking about Psychonauts 2. Like the Shadow of Tomb Raider, like
Mm.
it like came out like a wet fart and nobody talked about it, nobody said anything, and it was barely promoted and didn't really get a lot of good reviews. And I was like, well, maybe I just don't play it. So I never did.
I think now that I know what I'm getting into, maybe I'll be willing to sort of see where it goes. But I'll want to play the first two again, though. I'm not going to go straight to the third one.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it is one continuous story, so like,
Yeah.
which is why I'm worried that maybe the third one ends on a cliffhanger, and we're never going to get a fourth one. That would suck.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the case. I don't know if that's real. I don't know if maybe the end of the third
What
one
are-
is a definitive ending or not. But
So what's going on with the franchise, Brett? Do you know? The video games. Excuse me.
nothing as far
Because
as
I
I'm
know they
aware of.
did the remasters or the remakes of all the pointy boobed ones.
Yeah,
Those came out like Legacy Collection or whatever.
I don't know, man. Square Enix
So
owns them, so who knows?
is that where it started out? Tomb Raider's always been Square Enix.
No, Tomb Raider started out in IDOS Interactive. Then Square
Ah.
bought them a little, like maybe a year or two before the first reboot, and it's because like they were thinking about just continuing the series under the Square Enix banner. Then they're like, you know what we should do instead? It's been enough time, and the tone of the original games doesn't really vibe with what people are into nowadays. Let's reboot it. You know what's popular? Uncharted. Let's make Tomb Raider like Uncharted, but more serious. Because it is more serious.
Crossover game. That's what I want is a crossover game.
I mean,
How cool would that be? Come on,
Square
Naughty
Enix.
Dog and Square
Square
Enix.
Enix
Let's
is
do it.
notorious for not liking to do crossover games. They were in the '90s. They were all about that shit in the '90s, and then they got burned too many
Right.
times. They're like, we don't.
Yeah.
Then they became super protective of their properties, and they don't let anybody touch them anymore. That's why. That's why you won't see Gino or Mallow anywhere in anything outside of a Super Mario RPG game.
Yeah. That's too
The
bad.
fact
I
that
like
that
Gino.
remake exists is a goddamn miracle.
It's
That's
a
how much
miracle.
Square Enix does
It
not
really
like
is.
working with partners anymore.
Square, Naughty Dog, let's do this. But how would you split it up? Would you make it like a Resident Evil 5 sort of thing where it's co-op? Or would you like do alternating missions, like one person's doing this and one person's doing that, and when they meet you switch characters? Or kind of like an Alan Wake 2 thing where maybe there are places where you can switch to the different parts of the story.
I think any of those would be great.
Or a Resident Evil 0 style gameplay where you had to switch back and forth between the two to solve puzzles and get the other out of trouble.
Nobody wants that.
What? I can't look. The best
No.
thing that I've heard in years is that we're doing a modern re-engine fucking Resident Evil 0 remake, Brett, because that game deserves its due. The version that we got was not great. I loved it just because it's charming and different. Not always in good ways, but it's good enough. So that's why I'm always saying that remakes should be for good ideas that were poorly executed instead of remaking things that are already fucking perfect. So I'm way into Resident Evil 0 getting remade, and I heard on the internet, Brett, that that's the next one they're doing. And I'm hoping it's I'm hoping it's 0 and the original, because as much as I love the GameCube remake, I would love for them to do a Resident Evil 2, 3, 4 remake of the original.
Well, I mean, that's what it would be if they did another remake of the first game. It would be in line with 2 and 3.
Yeah, and that's what I want.
Yeah, but I mean, I've heard multiple rumors. There are multiple rumors floating around right now. Because next
5
year
is too new. 5's too new to remake.
I've heard Code Veronica as well. But like,
I'd take that.
Year,
I'd take Code Veronica, please. That's another, like, that's a tie.
Next year an anniversary. Next year's an anniversary, isn't it?
Something, I don't know.
It's like
what's
30,
next year? 2026?
Either 25 or 30. I forget.
Oh, yeah. So here's what they do. You do because that'd be 3 full games. I'm thinking you do 0 and the original game as, like, together. You put that out as one package. And then Code Veronica comes later. Because Code Veronica is Resident Evil 3. You know this. Brett knows this. Resident Evil 3 is Code Veronica, but because they were beholden to PlayStation for numbered entries, they couldn't call Code Veronica 3 because it was a Dreamcast exclusive when it came out. You knew this. Brett knew this.
Somebody came out and said that's a myth. Didn't I get this proven recently?
Yeah.
I don't remember. That's like a weird memory. Like, it's like, yes, I remember what you're saying. I remember that it used to be a fact for the longest time. But I also seem to recall recently. Just like...
Sorry, Brett, go ahead.
That's a myth. Yeah, like they came out and said that's not true. That's not true.
Well, I'll tell you, whether it's true or not, Code Veronica feels like more of a Resident Evil 3 than Nemesis does. Nemesis feels more like a full, like, if instead of there were 2 characters to play as in Resident Evil 2, there were 4. That's what 3 feels like. It feels like DLC almost. Because you go through some of the same places. I mean, there's a lot of reused assets in 3. For sure.
There are, yeah. I mean, that's
Veronica,
exactly what the remake of 3 was. The remake
Code
of 3
Veronica
was supposed to be DLC for remake 2, but they decided to release it as a full separate game, which was not appreciated by the fans.
Even though they cut some stuff out of the third one, is what I've heard.
They cut a lot of stuff out. They cut a lot out of the third remake.
That's too bad, because I can't go back to tank controls. That's why I need a modern remake of the original. Because I can't go back to tank controls, man. I keep trying to play Resident Evil 0 because I used to love the shit out of that game on GameCube when I got it.
A remake of Resident Evil 0 would be good as long as you give me item boxes.
Oh, I don't know. There's a certain strategy to leaving things in places. There are some times, Brett, where there will be something somewhere, and I don't have room for it in my inventory in Resident Evil 0, and I will put down something else. I will pick that thing up, take it to a room where I know it's going to be, like, closer or on my way to where I'm going, where I'll need it, and I go back and get the other thing, and then eventually I swing back around to it. It's annoying, but it does kind of, it makes you think, Brett. Really makes you think. You know?
Sure. No, I mean, that's sure. You know. Look,
am I exhausting you with my shitty opinions, Brett?
Resident Evil 0 has its enjoyers, okay? There are people
I
out
love
there.
it.
There are dozens of you. Dozens.
The dumbwaiter puzzle, like, as soon as you come to that, you're like, okay, I get it. I get this now. Okay.
No.
Yeah. It's fun.
No.
I like Rebecca too. Rebecca's fun. Bring Rebecca
Rebecca's
back.
great. Rebecca's a great character.
Bring her back.
When's
the last time we saw her?
In the movies?
fucking
The
multiplayer for Resident Evil 5?
the animated movies. She's come back in the animated movies, which are
Oh,
canon.
I still need to watch those, man. You've been
You
telling me,
do.
and I've been wanting to, but it
Some
just
of
seems
them are
like
pretty
such a
fucking good.
chore
The
to
most
figure
recent
out the
one
order.
feels like Resident Evil Avengers. Like like
Oh, word.
all of them assemble, and like there's a scene
Oh,
at
where
the end where they're all
Leon's there,
Leon, Jill, Claire, Chris.
Claire.
I think that's it. Leon, Jill, Claire, and Chris, and they're all fighting a
What
giant
about
monster.
Ada?
I don't think Ada's there.
Oh man, that's my girl. I love the voice actress in Resident Evil 4 and the 2 remake. And she plays her in person in Welcome to Raccoon City as well. That's the guy who voices her in the remakes. Is the guy who
The,
played her in Welcome to Raccoon City.
the voice actress for Ada in the second remake is different from the voice actress that does her in 4.
Okay, so 4 and Welcome to Raccoon City are the same person. One is a voice and one is the full performance. And I love in 4 how just very nonchalant she is about everything. Like she really does the character justice, because Ada's a character that she has a conscience, but she fucking hates that she has a conscience. Like she doesn't want to. Like she's constantly just like ugh. Like her whole vibe is ugh. Even when she's throwing Leon the rocket launcher, she's like, here, use this, I guess. Fuck. It's her whole vibe, and I love it. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
which it might surprise you to find out that the fan base hated her performance in Resident Evil 4.
What?
They
I
said it
love
was
it. It's so
flat and boring and emotionless.
yes, in the best way, dude. In the best way. That's what I love
I go
about
back
it.
and forth. I go back and forth. There are some scenes where it's like, could you give us a little more, please?
Because she's
And
so
there,
detached. But you
but
also
like,
know through her actions, like that she's like, fuck, man, gotta help this idiot, man.
well, yeah,
He's
but
so
there's,
cute. That's such a
but
pretty man. I gotta
then you
help him.
compare it to the Resident Evil 2 remake performance, and like that one's great.
That one's
No
okay.
notes.
Not as memorable for me. Not as memorable for me. Didn't stand out as much. I like her in 2. I like the character, and the voice acting is fine, but 4 remake Ada is it's peak. It's peak for me. Another shitty opinion. Another hot take. From your
No,
boy.
look, man. If there's a community that has shitty takes about just about everything, it's the Resident Evil community.
Oh, good.
The Resident Evil community is right up there with the Star Wars community in terms of shitty opinions and rampant misogyny. It's
Nice.
yeah,
I say it
real bad.
sarcastically, I swear.
These are the motherfuckers that got mad that they, the alternate in the Resident Evil 3 remake, you can have Jill wear her original skirt and tube top.
Yeah.
That's an outfit in the remake. But they made the skirt like skirts, and the community was mad that you couldn't see up Jill's skirt anymore.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that's the correct response.
Wow.
Utter disgust. Yeah,
I mean,
that's
I'm not above like trying to see some video game nudity or whatever, but it's not ain't that deep, man.
no, it
Ain't
really
that deep.
isn't. It's gross, and I
Yeah.
try to avoid discourse in that community at all costs.
Woof. Woof.
Yeah,
What I'm
but
saying is I'm not against it, but I'm not for it. That's for sure.
definitely not for it. What I was going to say though is the remake cycle. Before we move on, we can end this tangent soon once I get through this. The remake cycle seems to have a pattern where the previous game informs what they're testing for the next game. So, like in the Resident Evil 2 remake, you have Mr. X. That sort of is what they were testing how Nemesis would work in the Resident Evil 3 remake.
Yeah.
And then in what is it? Resident Evil 7? No, Resident Evil 8.
I didn't play that one.
They were testing a few things that were in that game that showed up in the Resident Evil 4 remake.
Oh, really?
with like the inventory system and the upgrading and all of that. Like Resident Evil 8 feels a lot like Resident Evil 4. Like,
But it's first person, right?
it started out that way, but you can play it in third person now. They have a third person mode.
I played 7, and it just was so
great. You're about to say
I
great,
don't-
right? Because it was
No,
great.
it didn't make me feel good. Like it felt very mean spirited. Like I don't know. Here's the thing. Maybe I think that these remakes are a good thing because, like you were saying, some of the newer games have informed the remakes, so it sort of weaves the games together in a way, in a gameplay style, even. Because, like, when I played 5 when it came out, I didn't like it. But now, having played the 4 remake, I kind of want to play 5 and 6.
You don't.
I
need to
kind
play
of
six.
do.
You don't
But
need
I
to play
kind of
six.
want to anyway because Ada's in it.
It's real bad. It's real more bad.
But then, like, I played 7 and I didn't. It was like, where is everybody? What is this? Is this? It felt more like a Silent Hill. I didn't play very much of it. I will admit to that. I played like maybe 10 minutes of it, and I was like, no thanks. I tapped out.
Oh, well,
But
that explains everything.
it felt more like a Silent Hill than a Resident Evil.
Yeah.
There was no
The fact
stars.
that you didn't play past the first 10, 15 minutes tells me everything I need to know about that opinion.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, now that I've been playing these remakes, because in the past, Resident Evil was a series that I was into, but I couldn't get very far in the games. It's just my brain didn't work that way. But with the remakes, because of the quality of life improvements, everything seems a little more intuitive and like it clicks in my brain and I get it. Which is why I would love a remake of Code Veronica and Zero, because I've never finished either of those games. But I loved what I played. It just got too. My brain, like, stopped understanding it at a certain point. With the remakes, like I said, they've made it so it's a little more intuitive.
And that was where I was going. Was if you look at the mechanics in Resident Evil 4, then you can see where it's set up to do either a remake of 5 or a remake of Code Veronica. Because those could easily do a partner system. They could easily add a partner system into Code Veronica, and there's already a partner system in 5. So
Why not
well,
do
but
Zero too?
to your point though, they could do that for Zero. There could be a Zero remake because
Yeah.
there's also a partner system in Zero. So
I've seen more. Actually, I've only seen articles saying that Zero is going to be the next one, and I
what
really
articles
hope
are
that
you
it's.
seeing that in? I've seen that like one place.
I
Like most
really
people are
hope.
saying it's Code Veronica or 5. That's what I've been seeing everywhere.
Well, here's the deal, Brett. You're probably like in the community and stuff.
I'm not.
I'm just like
don't
straight
lump
up
me with that.
Google News, and it's one of the topics that I subscribe to in Google News. So whenever there's like some Resident Evil shit, it pops up, and all that I've seen has been Resident Evil 0, and I really hope that if that's the case, that it's packaged with a remake of the original as well, because it's the smallest of all of them. I feel like compared to, it's shorter than the remake of 3, the original Resident Evil.
Spoilers.
I just feel like it would
they're
be
all the same length. I don't know if you knew that.
really.
They
I
are
had no
actually.
idea.
Yeah. They can
had
all be
no
beaten
idea.
within 3 to 4 hours. That is all of them are that long. There was recent discourse about like the original Resident Evil 3 was shorter than all the other Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
And it's not true. It's patently not true. It's the same length as all of the others.
Yeah, but now it is though, right? Since they shortened the remake, like all the remakes aren't the same length.
No.
Wait, you can
But then
get through
again,
4 in 4 hours?
I don't know about the remakes. The discourse was about the original games, not the remakes.
Okay. Up
I
to
don't
what?
know. 4. I think you could
Okay.
beat the original 4
Included 4.
in like 4 hours, 3 to 4
Well, there's
hours.
an achievement to beat it in under 8 hours. And I was thinking I was going to get that because I started a infinite rocket launcher run, but that got really boring really quick, and I was not having fun. That's
I
what
don't
drove
know.
me to Kingdom 2 Crowns,
I don't
Brett.
know why you found it boring. Like, it's like you can't use the infinite rocket launcher everywhere. You're gonna blow yourself up. Like, what were you
Yeah, I
doing?
know, but I wanted to. I wanted to just like run through it.
Oh, no wonder you didn't think it was fun. That's no fun at all.
Well, because when do you decide to, pull out your pistol? When do you decide to, like, I'm trying to get it in under 8 hours. Like, I don't want to waste any fucking time,
You,
you know?
if you can run past a group of enemies, you run past them.
Oh, I do be doing that sometimes.
Yeah, definitely don't engage with everything. Don't pick up anything because you don't need to.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't
But then
pick
I
up
realized
anything.
that
Don't
was
look
a
for
lot of the
treasure.
fun of the game, was doing treasure
I mean, yeah, that is the
and
thing. Yeah.
headshotting motherfuckers. Like, I'm a pistol guy. Like, I will upgrade all my other weapons. Like, I will use my rifle when I need to use, like I told you, I will shoot dudes like 3 chapters away with my rifle if I can.
Mm.
But I'm mainly a pistol guy. I get my pistol upgraded and I go for precision. And so to just get all sloppy and stupid, and it's not fun because it's too easy. There's no challenge.
Fun rifle fact: if you get the super scope on the
Yeah.
rifle, you
Yeah.
stand on top of a house in the first village when they're all attacking you.
Yeah.
And if you know where to zoom into, you can ring the bell early with the rifle.
Oh, look, at that point, if your weapons are upgraded, if you're on your at least second run, you don't need to ring that bell. At no
No, it's just
time
fun.
after my first run did they not they were like, okay, he's killed too many. We have to ring the bell. Like
Yeah,
in every other run, like they're
right.
like, this man must be stopped.
We got to get to bingo faster than this. We can't. We
Because I'm
can't.
just like pop, 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 pop. Just one after another, just bodies falling in a pile in front of me.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, no, it's just more of a fun thing to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you'd think, Brett, you would think, though you would be wrong, you would think that we're talking about a Resident Evil movie
No,
this
we're
week.
talking about Tomb
We're
Raider,
not.
ladies and gentlemen.
Somehow, some way, we're talking about Tomb Raider.
You know, last week when I got real mad that we weren't talking about Assassin's Creed, I feel like a hypocrite right now.
That's what's weird, Brett, because, like, Assassin's Creed, like, I enjoyed the parts that were good, but, like, I had a lot more fun with this than I did that movie.
And maybe I would have had fun with Tomb Raider had I not had such a low threshold for the bullshit at the beginning of this movie.
I can dig it.
Maybe I would have turned it around in the second half. Who knows? We'll never know now.
You'll never know. Brett gave
Could
up.
I go back and watch that last hour? I've got 48 hours to do so. Maybe I will.
It's
You know
true.
what? Maybe I will.
Yeah.
The rental expires in 48 hours.
Hey, man, you never know. You're already past the hard part.
That's true. I am. And there's more Walton Goggins later, I assume.
There is. And there's more Dominic West, which is always a good thing.
We gotta look. I think we should talk about Walton Goggins a little bit because we love Walton Goggins on this podcast.
Let's talk about him. What do you want to talk about
I mean,
him?
I don't know. This I'm just copying Steven at this point.
Oh yeah, you're doing a Steven, having a Steven.
I'm doing a Steven. Yeah, that's
Okay.
exactly what he would go. Let's talk about Walton Goggins, and then he'd look up Walton Goggins like filmography, and
I'm
we'd
working
talk
on it. Hold
about
on.
it for a little while.
Okay, yeah, straight up, we really love Walton Goggins.
We do.
Yo, he's in Invincible. I'm 2 episodes behind on Invincible.
Yes, yeah. I found that out recently. Yeah, he's in Invincible.
You didn't know that was him? Have you not been watching Invincible?
I have not. No, I'm way behind on Invincible, and
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah. Too bad.
I mean, Daredevil just started, so I
Yeah.
watched that
Oh,
too.
hey, you know what? Walton Goggins really cool, but Brett, let's talk about Daredevil real quick.
Let's not, because I haven't watched the first 2 episodes yet.
Oh, you haven't? I thought you did. That's why I wanted to talk about it. I thought you said you did watch it.
No, Walton Goggins or not Walton Goggins. Daredevil is out. but I haven't started
Yeah.
watching yet because that's usually what I do with
Oh.
these Disney Plus Marvel series.
Oh, you're the bingey guy. You gotta
I'm a
wait till they
bingey
all
guy. I'll
drop.
wait to no, not all of them.
I
I'll
respect it,
watch
Brett, but damn it, I can't do it.
because that's what I'm doing with Severance too. I haven't watched any of the new season of Severance because
Oh
I
my
can't. I can't bring myself to watch that show one episode at a time. I would go insane.
I'm complete opposite, Brett. I would never remember. I would not retain anything from it. I have to have that. That's so crazy that we
Yeah,
can be
because I'm thinking
so.
how do you retain things better when you've got a week in between episodes? Like I feel like
Because
if you
I be thinking about it. The thing is, like, shit comes at me on the screen, right? Yeah, I got about an hour, 45 minutes of stuff that I've witnessed, and then I kind of think about it, and it kind of runs around in my brain until the next episode, and then they do the previously on, and I'm reminded of those things, and I'm like, okay, all right, I know where I am, I know where I'm at, I've had this time to digest it. If I binge, which sometimes I do because I don't want to, but it's like how I don't want to stop playing Kingdom Two Crowns. Sometimes I can't deny something. I can't stop watching something because it's so good. But in every instance, I retain less because it's so much all at once. I can't retain all of that. Like as a normal human being in society, I only retain about 30% of what anybody says to me. Like the rest of that other 70% just like goes out the other ear, and not on purpose. I'm paying attention. It's just I'm thinking about other shit, like last episode of Severance. you know
see, we're like I'm the opposite because like
that's so wild.
it's not great because like I'm similar but different because like I will binge like the first season of Severance. I binged all of it in like 2 days, 2.5, 3 days.
Nice.
Because that shit sucked me in real hard. Um, but then my problem occurs when I'm done. Like, and then I get to the end of that 3 day binge, and I've watched the whole first season, and I'm going, man, that was great. I can't wait to see where the story goes. And you know what happens about 24 hours later? It's gone.
It's all gone.
It's all
It's all
gone.
gone.
It was never there to begin with.
It was never there.
Like I'm gonna have to rewatch season one because fuck me if I remember
Oh
what
man.
happens. Like
Oh
I'm
man.
not gonna remember what happened in season one enough to like watch season two effectively.
Yeah.
So that's my problem. That's my burden when it comes to watching shit.
You know
Because
what? I do let myself binge if it's something I've already seen. Like when
yeah,
I rewatch Fargo, which like every time a new season of Fargo comes out, just like there are some shows like Fargo, True Detective, and there's a couple others where every time there's a new show, a new season, I watch all of the other seasons in preparation. I rewatch them.
mm,
Um, and usually I do this with not anthology shows, but shows that are anthology season by season. Like each season, it's a different story with different characters, not each episode.
no,
Like I said, Fargo and True Detective, where there are some interconnected parts of it, but each season is its own thing. Yeah. And those I'll rewatch those, I'll binge those just because I've already I know everything that happens.
yeah.
And they're really fun to watch, especially True Detective. Man, Marv watched True Detective and he didn't like season 2, man.
Not a lot of
Didn't like
people did,
season
from what I
2.
understand.
No, I love
Mainly
season 2
because
though.
he's
It's my
apparently
favorite.
I never watched it, but like the discourse I hear is that like season one was so incredible that there's no way season two could have ever lived up to the hype.
Well, season 1 is the best. Like I would say, well, season 1 and the most recent season, the kind of spin-offy one, the Alaska one with with Jodie Foster and the other gal was in it. What's that called? Night something? I want to say Night Springs, but that's Alan Wake.
Mm.
Uh but
Solar system in your
anyway,
soup.
do what?
a solar system in your soup.
Wink. No, but the first season is the best of True Detective, and the second season for me is it's kind of like Starship Troopers and Starship Troopers 2. I don't know if you've ever seen Starship Troopers 2, but
I
it's a
haven't.
low-key fucking zombie movie. Like, it takes place in one place. It's a
Mm,
little tiny horror B movie.
yeah.
So different from the original. I don't know. That's why I appreciate season 2 of True Detective. It's just Colin Farrell acting his dick off and Vince Vaughn playing not Vince Vaughn to the extent that, spoilers, his death in that series is one of my favorite all-time character deaths of like anything, film, television, anything. It's fantastic. Boy, season 2. I tell you what. Anyway, they really should have made this a TV show, Brett. You're right. And then they could have explored all that stuff because you know all the missing characters. They had to kind of squish all
Then
that together, trying to put
Walton
so much
Goggins
into.
could have been around later, who we were just talking about, but got sidetracked.
Yes, Walton Goggins. He was in the Fallouts. We saw that. People love the Justifieds with the Timothy Oliphant.
Yeah,
I tried to watch that and like it was good, but I just wasn't into it. I watched like 3 episodes and I'm like, yeah, this
yeah,
is
it's kind of not my thing.
fine, but nah,
Yeah, it's
I can
fine,
see
but
where
not
this is
really.
popular and I'm happy that it is, but it's not for
Yeah,
me really.
not
Even though
my
I
thing.
love everybody, I love Timothy Oliphant, I love Walton Goggins.
I'm not a
Everybody
big
that's in the show.
Timothy Oliphant.
Really? But we watched Crazies, Brett. Were you there for that episode? Did you watch the Crazies?
No, I watched the Crazies
He's so good
on
in
Halloween. I watched
He's
the
so
Crazies
good,
recently
man.
on Halloween.
Oh,
That's pretty good. I didn't really care for the film.
really? The remake of
Like,
Crazies?
yeah, wasn't
We
really a
did
fan.
that in the last couple of years. Were you just not on that episode?
I don't think I was. No.
Fuck a duck, Brett.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Fuck a duck.
But
An
I think
actual duck.
what we all quite enjoy, Walton
Righteous
Goggins and
Gemstones?
Righteous Gemstones,
Straight up Baby Billy?
Uncle Baby Billy.
Yo, but Vice Principals, I will still argue for Vice Principals as best Danny McBride, Walton Goggins pairing. I love that show so much. As much as again, same with True Detective. Look, Righteous Gemstones is the better show. I will concede to that.
Sure.
But Vice Principals, ooh, that's a mean show. I love how mean that show is. Ooh. Mm-mm-mm. You seen Vice Principals all the way through, Brett?
I have not. No.
Boy, I tell you what, that's it for me.
Walton
I like
Goggins
all the
also
Danny
in
McBride shows, though.
White
But Vice
Lotus.
Principals, well, which one you want? Yeah, people love that show.
Yeah.
People love that shit.
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy, I guess he was in some of that. Oh, he was in Machete Kills. When are they gonna make Machete in Space, man? Come on, don't. Come on, man. Mel Gibson had gone to
look,
space. Let's do it. Let's go.
Danny Trejo is getting up there in age. We got to get on that.
You gotta hurry, man.
Machete in Space.
Fuck. I'm actually really mad because I spent money to see both those movies at the theater and I own both of them. I feel like I'm owed the third one. I have invested in this shit multiple times and I'm on board. I've invested since the beginning. Your boy saw Grindhouse at the movie theater 3 times, then bought that special edition Blu-ray as soon as it came out.
Yeah, bitch.
Give me Machete
I
in
also
Space.
saw the full Grindhouse experience in theaters with the fake trailers in between the 2 movies and everything. That was a fantastic time.
That was what year? I don't know what year that was that Grindhouse came out, but that was a good year for movies because I also saw Hot Fuzz multiple times in the movie theater that same year.
Yarp.
Oh boy, that was a good one. Narp?
Yeah, no, Walton Goggins is great.
He's good times. I don't think that I've ever. Oh, he's in Daddy in Them, which is a film that we're gonna watch on not the next Straight Up, but the Straight Up after next. We will be doing Daddy in Them, written and directed by Billy Bob Thornton, the last theatrically released performance by Jim Varney as well.
Okay.
But Walton Goggins has one of the best scenes in that movie, and I'm very excited for you to see it. I'm actually very curious to see what see what both of you think of that film, because it's kind of a weird movie. But I'm specifically interested to talk
sure.
about that scene.
It's a straight up.
The
Of course it's a
scene.
weird
The scene with Walton Goggins. I can't wait to talk about that. So,
movie. I mean,
yeah,
when
Walton
you-
Goggins.
If it's a straight up, it's a weird movie. It just goes without saying.
It is. It's
Right.
weird. It's like a. It's like a redneck Paul Simon play. Like everybody's arguing and yelling at each other, and like, not Paul Simon. I'm sorry. What's the playwright guy that did California Suite? Because Paul
Steven is
Simon's the musician.
screaming at his.
He
his
really is.
podcaster right now.
Golly,
Steven, scream louder. We can't hear you. What is it, buddy?
what is it? I'm almost there.
It wouldn't be an episode of Disenfranchised if it didn't have somebody looking up
I'm
something
so
in real
mad.
time.
Neil Simon. That's the playwright. Neil Simon.
Okay.
In a way that Day of the Dead is the Neil Simon zombie movie where people are just arguing. That's all they do is argue. Just constantly yelling at each other for 90 minutes, and it's my favorite Romero zombie film. Though I hate plays like that. It's so weird. It's like how like I don't really like musicals, but my favorite film is a musical. I'm a complicated dude, Brett. I don't know what to tell you.
Dude, you contain
Complicated as hell.
You contain multitudes.
At least.
What else do we got to fucking say about Tomb Raider?
I gotta talk about
Rise of the Laura Shadow Croft.
I gotta talk about the straight up box office for this, but I don't know where Steven gets that.
Oh. Well, we don't. I mean, we don't. We discuss if there's anything else we have to talk about. Then we go into the box office. If we
but we don't have anything else to talk. The reason you brought that up, Brett, is because you
I'm
didn't
just
have
saying.
anything else to talk about,
Look,
and
that's
I don't
exactly
have anything
what
else to talk
Steven says. Steven says,
So-
"Is there anything else we have to
Yes,
talk
but
about?"
you're the only one here, Brett. It's implied you're like David Spade at the SNL 50th. Like I get it.
I got the gist.
Yeah.
No, I was like, is there anything else? Because like maybe there's something
No.
you specifically wanted to talk about that we haven't touched on yet.
I really liked it, but I mean that's gonna go. Well, I didn't really like it, but like I was surprised at how much I enjoyed it.
And I was just mad that they completely changed everything, and could have done a much better job had they not made Laura so dependent on dudes the entire time. At least in the beginning. Apparently it gets better. Apparently the second half of this movie, she's not dependent on dudes all the time.
No, she's very much. I mean, like her dad's there a bit, but like whatever.
It's like her dad is not alive in the games at all. Like he's dead. Spoiler: the Anna chick at the beginning, that's like was her dad's business partner or whatever.
Yeah,
that bitch straight up murdered him in the games.
that's true.
She's an operative for Trinity. She straight up kills.
Well,
that
yeah,
guy.
they reveal that at the end.
Oh, they do. Oh, okay.
Laura figures that out after she basically signs control of the company over to her. So that's fucking cool. She's like, I trust you. You're the only person who can run this. We are friends. And then like she figures it out, and she's like, oh shit. And that's the end of the movie. It's pretty rad.
If by rad you mean terrible, yes, rad.
I guess
Totally,
so. If you're into that sort of thing,
absolutely
Brett.
Rad.
Golly, so rad. So Tomb Raider
Why do they have to do this? Let me just say this real quick. Why do they have to do this? I don't understand. When you have a story in front of you, I get that adaptation has to be a thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to change some things. But sometimes there are things you don't need to change. Like, look at how many times, and they're doing it again. I don't know if you've heard this. With Resident Evil, how many times they've tried to adapt it.
Yes, but
they miss. Like, why? Why did you need to add Alice into the first movie?
Do you remember how there was that Netflix show like at the same time that Welcome to Raccoon City was coming out? Like, what the fuck?
Don't talk about that Netflix show. That Netflix show doesn't exist, and I will refuse to acknowledge it.
All right, yeah. Here we are back on Resident Evil again. But here we go. Like, look,
I
I'm
mean, it's the most
hopeful.
notorious adaptation they've fumbled over and over again. Like,
And I get what you're saying, and I agree with you, and it definitely applies to what you were saying before, but I I'm kind of hopeful because Zach Kreger has been my boy since Whitest Kids You Know, and Barbarian was the shit. So I think
Look,
if anybody can, right now it's going to be him. I'm not saying he can, but if anybody can, we'll see.
Look, I'm a battered housewife when it comes to Resident Evil. Like I will keep
Well,
coming. Yeah, I will come back and be like, this time he's changed.
you have to
Every
consider.
time.
Well, and I'm glad you're coming back because I think Zach Kreger is going to be good for the film franchise because he's in that blank check phase. Like Barbarian hit so hard that I'm sure he's getting full creative control and all this shit. I mean, I know Resident Evil is a franchise that, Capcom has some say in it, but I think with where he is in his career right now, he's going to probably get more creative control. Well, not more, because I guess everybody that's made a Resident Evil movie, for better or for worse, has kind of...
That's the problem. That's what I was about to say.
I mean?
Every other writer, except for the TV series, I never really saw any interviews with
I
that
didn't
guy.
see the TV series, so I have no reference.
You don't want to.
I don't. I have no.
But all the others, like the guy that wrote Welcome to Raccoon City and Paul W.S. Anderson, and even Mila Jovovich, who like sought out the movie, who said she was a fan who watched her brother play a lot and went out of her way. Like she was going to try to adapt Resident Evil whole cloth. Like she was going to do it herself.
Yeah.
When she found out Paul W.S. Anderson was doing it, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm on board. Also, you're hot. I'm going to marry you." But like that's completely different, and that ruined the series in other ways.
Yo, they brought the trap, the laser trap, is in separate ways, dude. The laser trap from the first movie.
The laser trap shows up in the original Resident Evil 4 after the movie. That's the funny thing.
That's so
the
rad.
Games pick and choose what they want to take from the movies.
As long as it's not tied to a character, something like the laser thing, the laser that's trap, rad. Yeah, fucking take it.
They used, I think, the Red Queen. The Red Queen from the first movie. I think they put that in a game at some point.
Nice.
Yeah, they pick and choose some stuff every once in a while.
Why not?
Steal from the movies.
Do it, yeah.
But like all of those people that have worked on these movies before have also said they were a big fan of the games.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot in adaptations of video game movies to begin with. You'll get somebody on the project who goes, "Yeah, I'm a huge fan of these games. I played them a lot. I can't wait to adapt it." And then they fuck it up.
Well, like, I believe it for the Welcome to Raccoon City guy, because if it was faithful, if nothing else. It wasn't a good movie, but a lot like this movie in some ways. It was like a film adaptation of the cutscenes.
Yeah, that's
you know what I mean?
And that's maybe why Resident Evil's so hard to adapt, is because you have the Paul W.S. Anderson adaptation, which is like, we're going to pick and choose a couple things from the games and completely
it's just the name and like a few references. Just stamp it on there and make it scary in action.
The Welcome to Raccoon City adaptation, which is too faithful.
Yeah.
And like, look, I love it.
Yeah.
I there's part of me deep down that really, really likes Welcome to Raccoon City.
Like, we talked about that during that episode. We had a good time with it. We both admitted that it was not good, but that we loved it.
But I love it anyway. Like if you're gonna give me a straight up like live action recreation of the
truck and the sandwich, like it's all there, like
the set design, the fucking ammo boxes in the background, like a complete live action recreation of the twins cutscene, like from Code Veronica. Come on,
you could have Leon though. That's not Leon.
But then they go and massacre my boy Leon. Like, see what they did to my boy. Like, what are you doing? What happened?
Who is that? Look. That's already a character. The guy that's in 3, right? Like, he looks more like the guy in 3.
That's what everybody said. Like, this motherfucker should be Carlos. Why isn't he Carlos? Like,
How? He looks like someone got confused.
I think
I don't
so.
know who or how and why it wasn't caught, but somebody got confused, Brett. Somebody got very
So, but
confused.
that's why maybe it's so hard to adapt. Is you need to have somebody that has a love for the games, but also knows how to adapt something properly.
Agreed.
And I think that's the ultimate problem with video game movies is you can't do it in movie form. You have to do it in TV series form.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Last of Us and Fallout. If those
Well,
have been
there's so
movies,
much.
no, it doesn't work.
Well, there's so much lore, and like a lot of these games, like there's several hours.
Mm-hmm.
Like you get a game like Alan Wake 2 that's like 20 hours. Could you imagine trying to adapt that in something coherent? Like,
Yeah, you can.
it's
And
difficult.
maybe that's where the turn is coming. Maybe people will realize that these video games, if we're going to adapt them, they need to be TV series. But then,
Yeah.
but then you get Resident Evil, and I'm just like, I throw my hands up and go, "What the fuck is going on?" Like,
Yeah.
the TV series is the epitome of in name only.
Oh wow.
I don't know
I
what
thought
they
it
were
had the
doing.
liquors though. I saw a picture of the liquors.
Sure,
Those
maybe
fucking liquors, I tell you what. Oof.
it does this stupid. Let me tell you, Tucker, because you're not
They
going to watch
drop
it. I'm going
down,
to make
scare
sure.
the
I'm
shit
going to
out
make
of
sure
me.
you never watch it.
Sure.
Like it alternates between the story when the outbreak first happens and the
Mm-hmm.
future where the zombie apocalypse has occurred already.
But
Right. No, I know. Um, uh, and so, like, the
is time
two,
travel a part of it?
no, it's flashbacks. The current day is the zombie apocalypse, and there's flashbacks to before it happened. Um, and so it's the two daughters are the main characters. They are
Word.
daughters of Albert Wesker, played by Lance Reddick.
But why?
Um,
Any of that? Any of
right,
those words you just said, but why?
and he's like a clone of like the original Wesker. He's not the real clone of Wesker, but he's
So
like
does this
working.
take place in the middle of shit and like they're implying other things happened before? Are we in the middle of the story here, Brett? What
No,
the
I
fuck
don't
is this?
exactly, Tucker. Exactly. I don't know what they were thinking or what they were trying to do with the TV series, but huh?
Man. Yeah, I never had plans on watching it, but I definitely won't watch it now because that just does not sound like something even I could enjoy.
Yeah.
And you know that
So
means like you're swirling the bowl if even I can't enjoy it.
right, that's true.
If I
You are
can't
a good.
find something, you fucked up.
You are a
Fucked
good
up hard.
barometer. Yeah.
Yep.
You have fucked up now.
You did a bad thing.
Uh,
Brett, are you ready to do the box office?
I was just gonna say every time I hear now you fucked up, I just think of the whitest kids you know, Abraham Lincoln sketch.
You fucked up. You fucked up.
You have fucked up.
Now you
Now
have fucked up.
now
You
you have
fucked
fucked up.
now. That's your boy, Zach Kreger, dude. That's your boy.
Yeah, is he the one that
He's
died?
yelling.
Is he the one? Which
No,
one died?
Trevor died. The one who was, yeah. He just
Gotcha.
fell down the stairs at his house and broke his neck. Just like one Hot Wheel astray on the floor, and your life is over.
Dude, man, life is
Fucking
fleeting.
wild.
It can end. It can end in a drop of a
Yeah,
hat.
watch where you step, for sure.
Yeah, or it could all end.
But some good news despite that sad news. Everything on the creative side and all of the voices had been recorded for their new animated film before he died, so that is still scheduled to come out. It's called Mars, I think.
Cool. That's exciting. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that would be the third Whitest Kids You Know film, because you have the Civil War on Drugs, which was presented as like a segment at the end of every episode of one of the seasons, but you can buy it as a movie. And then of course you have Miss March, which is really bad, but I also think it's really funny. And then this new one coming out, Mars animated. I'll check it out.
Yeah, me too.
Well, Brett, let's get to that box
Yeah.
office. But before we do, I have to pee. So I'm going to go pee. And I'll edit this part out. Where are we? About 125 into the business here? 125. All right, I have to pee. I'll be right back.
All right.
Oh, God, I've been holding it so long.
5 minutes later.
Oh, yeah? What are you watching there, bud? Watching some Whitest Kids, you know?
Yeah, I just brought it. I was gonna watch the sketch while you were in the bathroom, but I did not get to it.
Dude, my favorite, oh gosh, probably autoerotic asphyxiation is one of my favorite sketches, where it's before the show and Trevor decides to autoerotic asphyxiate himself and he accidentally dies. And like he pops out as a ghost and everybody keeps finding him. And like somehow his thumb gets up his butt. And there's gay porn in his
Why
arm.
is it that reminded me what sketch you were talking about? I don't know why. That's for at first I was like, I don't remember this sketch. Oh, that did it.
And there's the photographer. He's taking pictures. Here, put this gay porn under his arm. Yeah. That one's one of my favorites. That and the poop rope when they're in the balloon. And Darren takes the poop really long and then everybody climbs down. Because they're losing weight. So they're... Oh, man, that's such a good show. Shout Factory, you have the HD masters. Why are you only offering a DVD? Give me a Blu-ray. Man, come the fuck on. Don't make me buy it digitally. Fuck. I was so excited when they announced that, and then when it got its proper announcement right before it came out, it's like, on DVD, and I'm like, great. I guess. Yeah, sure. Like, if it comes down to it, I'll buy the DVD and just watch it on my CRT. Like, I don't think I had an HD TV when I was watching Why Kids You Know anyway. When I first started watching it, I was watching it on like a 70s Sony big screen, like front projection TV that had like the red, blue, and green projector and a mirror. And like the projector shot and then the mirror hit the mirror and went on like this metal screen. It was wild.
Yeah, I think my grandparents had one like that.
Yeah, and you had the remote. You could tilt the mirror with the remote and like focus it and stuff. It's fucking ridiculous.
Crazy.
That was a piece of hardware right there. That's also what I watched the majority of Dexter on.
Neat.
Yeah. It was a really cool TV. Played a lot of Nintendo Wii on that TV. Yeah.
Played the Wii on the TV. Yeah.
TV Wii. Yeah. Oh, we were doing the box office.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the box office.
Wow. Brett, stop. You're making me feel weird.
No!
No, Brett, stop. No.
The box office.
Tomb Raider came out Friday, March 16th, 2018 at number 1 at the box office, Brett.
Really?
You believe that? You believe that?
I don't actually. That's kind of surprising.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. It opened at $9 million, basically. $8,984,000. $8,984,000 is how much it made its first weekend.
On a budget of...
Oh, no, this was just the first day that it came out. I don't... Fuck. No, give me the week. Man, I don't know how this shit works.
Isn't it called The Numbers? Isn't the name of the website called The Numbers?
Man, I don't fucking know, dude. Shit. Oh, look, I'm just going to tell you what else opened and where it was. Okay. So, number 2 that week was Black Panther. And it had been out for like a month. Number 3 was I Can Only Imagine. I don't even know what the fuck that is.
Hold on, I found it.
Okay. I know. Wow, a lot of these movies I'm not familiar with. Is that the Death Wish with Bruce Willis? Huh. Oh, Annihilation. We covered that. That was a good ass movie. Wait,
Love Annihilate.
Brett, did you find it? Are you gonna read it off? What's going on?
Hold on.
Okay, because I could keep going. I'll bet it's probably the same. Number 4 is something called Love,
yeah.
Simon. I don't know what
Hold on.
that is.
Got it. Hold on. Hold your
Oh,
horses,
Brett
buddy.
has it. I said what number 4 was. Man, you
All
don't make me-
right. So, Tomb Raider 2018 opens on what day, Tucker?
March 16th, 2018, according to IMDb.
And it makes 23 million in its opening weekend
Sweet.
on a budget of 90 million.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Goes on to earn 58 million domestic.
But it opened at number 1. I was right?
It did, yeah. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. Yeah, total domestic box office 58 million, worldwide ending with a worldwide box office of 273 million.
That's not bad.
No,
90 million budget.
surprisingly. Yeah.
Hey, there's an IMDb page for the sequel. I'm just saying.
So maybe there's a sequel.
I would watch the fuck out of it. Hopefully it's better than this one.
Yeah, maybe.
Which I didn't hate this one, but I would like the sequel to be better, obviously.
Right, maybe.
At least we wouldn't have to deal with the shitty first act, because we're past it. So the sequel probably would be better.
And actually it did not open at number 1. It opened at number 2 behind Black Panther.
But Black Panther had been out for like 4 weeks, right?
Black Panther had been out for 1 week. Well, I don't know if it had been out for 4 weeks, but it was number 1 the week before. It had made 26 million. Number 2 was
really?
Tomb Raider at number 2. It made number 23 million. So close.
Word.
Almost beat Black Panther on its second week.
So close.
Number 3, a movie called I Can Only Imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Number 4, A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh yeah, I
Was
hate it when
number,
time be wrinkling.
At number 2 the week before. Number 5, Love, Simon. Love, Simon.
Yeah.
Number 6, down from 5 the week before, Game Night. I've heard a lot of good things about Game Night. Might watch
I've
that
heard
sometime.
I feel that's a movie. Someone
Number
made.
7, Peter Rabbit.
Oh.
Down from 6 the week before. 8, number 8, down from 3, The Strangers Pray at Night.
How many of those Strangers movies is there these days?
I mean, they recently did a reboot, so I think there were 3, and then they did a reboot.
You keep doing the numbers. I'm gonna. Oh wait, I already have it. So there's The Strangers Pray at Night, which is the one we're just talking about, and then The Strangers Chapter 1, which came out last year, and apparently there's a sequel to that, The Strangers Chapter 2, coming out this year. That's like 3 hours long.
Yeah, apparently The Strangers Chapter 1 and 2 are just...
It's one big deal.
One big deal.
TV show,
Yeah.
What the fuck are you doing, man? Come on, just make a TV show, dude. Like, I like horror in the theater, but I don't need horror in the theater. Like, that's not... Well, not... I mean, sometimes. But Strangers, I don't need to watch that in the theater. I would have loved to have seen this movie in the theater. I would have loved to have seen Tomb Raider in the theater. I had no desire to, but having seen it here, those action set pieces would have definitely benefited from the big sound and the big screen at a movie theater.
For sure. Number 8, down from number 3 the week before, was The Strangers Pray at Night. Number 9, down from number 4 the week before, Red Sparrow. And then number 10, Death Wish.
The one with Bruce Willis.
Let's see. Is it? I don't know.
Because there was the one with Kevin Bacon, but they called it something else.
Summary. Hold on, I'll tell you.
Do you know what I'm talking about, though, Brett? Outside of looking it up. Really?
Nope.
If you look up Death Wish, On the IMDb's, it will show you what came before and what came after.
It is Bruce Willis.
It is the Bruce Willis one.
With Vince D'Onofrio, Elizabeth Shue,
Vincent
Norris.
D'Onofrio? Did you just say D'Onofrio? Vincent
Yeah.
D'Onofrio, Brett. Motherfucking Wilson Fisk. Put some respect on that name, Brett.
It's
Damn.
funny to say it weird.
Damn.
Fuck off.
Brett. Elizabeth Shue. Now I have to watch it. One of my
Elizabeth
first
Shue.
crushes. Adventures in Babysitting. Elizabeth Shue. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. Directed by Eli Roth. Our sometimes boy Eli Roth. What was the one with Kevin Bacon, though? It was directed by the Saw guy, right? Was it called
Wan?
Death Sentence? It was. John Goodman, Kevin Bacon, directed by James Wan. It is... Well, I heard it was a remake of Death Wish. Oh, okay. Based on the book Death Sentence, the direct sequel novel to Death Wish, which itself was made into the movie Death Wish in 1974, starring Charles Bronson, which this remake that we're talking about is a remake of that film.
Based on the novel Push by Sapphire.
The James Wan film with Kevin Bacon is an adaptation of the sequel novel, not a sequel to any Death Wish film. I'm glad we cleared that up. Now we all know the Death Wish timelines, the separate Death Wish timelines. You've got like the 12 starring Charles Bronson, and the remake, and the book sequel adaptation. Anyway, I guess that's it, Brett. I think we did it.
Yeah. Now we gotta
fucking do
do
it,
the
dude?
ratings. We gotta do the ratings.
I guess
Don't
so.
forget
Sure.
about the
Well, Brett,
ratings.
what do you think? Out of 5 stars, what do you think
But
on
hold
this
on.
one?
Hold on.
Hold
What
on,
are you
why?
doing?
Why I gotta hold on? What did I miss?
Because IMDb gives it a 6.3.
Oh shit! I guess.
The
You're right.
tomatometer score.
No, you're right.
The tomatometer score is a 52% out of 324 reviews. Laura Croft is the fiercely independent daughter. So wait a minute, hold on.
Whoa.
Where's the reviews? How do you do
Man,
that?
I don't know, dude. I don't know anything about. That's why, man. That's what Steven's for, man.
Yeah, I didn't know there was maybe he doesn't read. I don't think there's a consensus. He just picks one of the reviews and reads it.
We need a disenfranchised Bible,
We do.
like a guidebook, like a Google Doc that just goes through all the beats of the show and all of the sources and where we find everything. We should do that. A fan wiki, if you will. But not that at all. I'm not sure why I said that. I think I'm just stalling.
Right. So I'm gonna take that again. Stitch this together. And then the tomatometer score is a 55%. 324 critics saying, though it's far from breaking new ground and is plagued by poor writing, it's a mostly enjoyable action film.
That's what I thought. That's pretty spot on.
Yeah.
For me, for sure.
I definitely agree with the poor writing. But then over on Letterboxd, you want to take a shot at what the average rating is, Tucker?
I'm going to say somewhere between 2.6 and 3.0.
2.7, my man. You are back.
Hey, I'm
We're
back.
So back.
Finally.
We're so back.
Finally.
So then that leaves us with our ratings. Tucker, what would you give 2018's Tomb Raider out of 5 stars?
Out of 5 stars, this gets a 3 from me because it's pretty middle of the road, but the action scenes in the second and third act are very intense. There's some nail biters. There's some really well done suspense in some of those action scenes. Some of it's corny, some of it's cheesy, some of it's full of tropes, but some of it is truly suspenseful and had me on the edge of my seat, and that's a good time. Like, I don't give a fuck what's happening in the first act. If you got me on the edge of my seat in the second and third act, we're having a good time. So 3 stars from your boy.
Cool. I'm gonna give it a 1, but also a DNF
Because you
'cause
watched just the first hour.
I watched the shitty part. Yeah. So I mean, I might keep an eye on my Letterboxd. I might change it if I go back and watch the rest of the film.
Maybe, I don't know.
So I might change my mind. We'll see.
Maybe since you didn't watch the whole thing and Steven's not a part of this episode, if there's another sort of video game theme month in the future, maybe we'll revisit it. Who knows?
Who knows? Maybe
Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, man. We don't need to be doing that as 40-year-old white dudes.
There's white people with that accent. Chet Hanks has that accent. Haven't you seen Atlanta? That's a poll.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
look, I'm
yes,
marking it, but I'm not sure if I'm going to edit it because that might be too awesome to cut.
Anyway, so that's been disenfranchised for the 2018 Tomb Raider.
We did it.
We did it.
We did it, and you know what? I think we did all right. Like, it is true that Steven is the glue of this show. He's the heart of the Ghostbusters. Whereas, like you're the brain, and I'm the wild card. Like you're Egon, and I'm Peter, and
I'll take it.
And Steven is Ray. Like, he's what brings all that together. But you know what? We can handle it on our own, is what I'm saying. It's not something that's ideal, but when we do it, it's a whole different vibe, and it's kind of a nice little different thing that we do every once in a while, every couple of years.
So I guess we're gonna have to do it on our own.
We're gonna have to take control, Brett. We've gotta take control, dude. And if it's up to us, look, if it's up to us, then we gotta take control, right? It's too hot to handle, too cold to hold.
They call the Ghostbusters, and they're in control.
They damn.
And I'm throwing a party for a bunch of children, Tucker.
Okay, you've gone too far. You got too far. It's over. The bit's over, Brett.
While the slime was under the building, Tucker.
Under the building. You know what, though, Brett? I didn't understand the hand coming from the ground. Because I knew it wasn't mine.
It was somebody else,
It was somebody else, right? It was somebody else. I don't know who it was. Who was it? We don't know.
Now this is what happens when Steven isn't around. Just unfettered Ghostbusters 2 content.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Oh, boy. Goddamn.
Yeah. Well, we did it, Brett. We straight up Bretted.
We did.
We straight up Bretted it.
Well, all right. So let's look. How does Steven do this? We take it home.
You do another quote for the movie. Do you want me to look it up while you talk about?
Sure.
We have to do socials. You have to do socials. Don't forget.
Yeah. This has been Disenfranchised. I've been your host, Brett Wright. Steven's not here. Hopefully he's found the Ark of the Covenant by now. It's a religious artifact. I feel like he'd probably do a good job of hunting those down.
He's got that whole degree, right? He went to school for that.
He does,
shit, right?
yeah. He's like
he could be a Tomb Raider. Like, he knows all the stuff. He'd be the guy, like Indiana Jones with the book, because he's read the shit. Yeah. Like, he has the receipts.
Yeah. Indiana, let it go, Indiana.
We named the dog Indiana.
Junior.
Sean Connery is such a doofus, but I love him.
He is. That's been Tucker. You can email us at disenfranchpod@gmail.com. Let us know what you thought of Tomb Raider. Or did you fall on the Tucker side of things, or did you fall on the Brett side of things? Or did you fall on the Steven side of things and didn't bother to watch it but want to tell us anyway? Please send us an email. I have been your host, as previously mentioned. I'm really borking this real bad. I've been your host, Brett Wright.
Great, Brett.
You can find me on Letterboxd at sus_warlock. I'm not on any other social media because burn it all to the ground. Tucker, where can people find you out on the internet?
Well, here's the deal. Like, I'm pretty much done with Instagram, but I had a record swap with Jimmy Friday night. And when I have a record, let me tell you, you know what about the record swap? Have I told you about the
No,
record swap?
I do not. You have not.
Jimmy and I, we are brothers, and we are musically connected through our souls, actually. And so sometimes to help to maintain our long distance friendship, we have record swaps. And I will give him a record to listen to that he has never heard before, and he will give me a record to listen to that I have never heard before. And we will listen to those records, and then when we are both finished listening to those records, we will call each other, we will talk about those records, and then after we've completed talking about the records, we just have a friend conversation. You know, we talk about what's going on with our lives and shit. So these conversations with the record swap content included usually last about 3 to 5 hours. And when I'm on the phone, Brett, worse than any other activity that I can do where I lose track of how much alcohol I am ingesting and how many times I'm hitting my little weed pipe here, my weed flute. Um, I lose track when I'm on the phone more than any other activity. And so the other night after I got home off the phone with Jimmy, I I was really inebriated, like embarrassingly inebriated. Like I'm not the person who does these things to get fucked up. I do these things to maintain a manageable buzz so that I can still like have a good time being creative or, you know, watching entertainment. You know, it's just a nice little thing. So when I get that snookered, it's a little embarrassing. And I was listening to the album Eternally Hard by Bitch and Animal, which was not related to our album swap. We listened to two totally different records. He assigned me a record by Panda Bear, which is a British electronic guy that was really cool. And I assigned him Devendra Banhart, who was kind of a psych folk guy from the early 2000s. Around the time that the two original Tomb Raiders came out, Devendra Banhart was putting out records that were really rad. Now they kind of suck, but that's a different story. I was listening to Eternally Hard by Bitch and Animal, and there's a song on it called Best Cock on the Block. And I was really excited to be listening to Bitch and Animal because that record in particular is a very important record to me. And so I posted on Instagram a screenshot of me listening to Best Cock on the Block, and I was so inebriated that I didn't really make the connection that it seemed like I was boasting about my own genitalia, which I was not. It's just a really good song made by two lesbians with a bass guitar and a violin. And like it's about dildos. And I didn't even think about it when I posted it, but I can't delete it because people have liked it. And I'm not sure why they liked it. Like maybe they get it. Like Jimmy gets it because Jimmy's heard. I've forced that record upon him many times. So like he gets it and he liked it. But the other people that liked it, I'm like, I'm I don't want them to think that I'm trying to like I'm not I just really like that song. It's not any kind of boast, any sort of implied boast about my swimsuit area. That's it. Anyway, I'm on Instagram and YouTube at Ice909.
That's what I heard.
That's ICENINE, the number 0 and the number 9. Also, Tuck Mugs is still around. We're not really adding to it, but I really want to move it to a different platform, but I don't know where to move it or what that entails. Like, there's some big life stuff going on in the next couple months, so probably in the late summer or fall, I'll deal with Tuck Mugs, move that somewhere.
Everything's dying and everything sucks. We'll figure it out.
But hey, if you're not already following Tuck Mugs on Instagram, check it out. It's pretty rad. There's still a lot of content there. It's just we won't be doing anything new because I kind of want to move it off of the meta stuff. But yeah, That's it. Brett, you mentioned the Patreon, right? And how that's the official conversation of.
Oh yeah, the Patreon.
Did you
Yeah, so
mention that?
yeah, the official conversation happening over on Patreon at patreon.com/dishandfranchpod. You can join for free and join the conversation. But you can also give us $5 to hear some content. Hours, months,
There's a lot. Look, we
years.
haven't done anything in a while, and we're looking to correct that. And I know, Brett, that you're very passionate about getting back into it, as you said last episode. And I've been thinking about it a lot. It's just a matter of making it work. I know Steven just had a move. He was doing a move, so we're going through life stuff right now, but we're getting back on it. But in the meantime, if you're not already a subscriber, there's so much shit on there, dude. You're not kidding when you say months. Like, you could listen to a good amount of that Patreon, a couple episodes a day of whatever, for literally months. There's so much shit on there.
Yeah.
So much.
And it's free. You get free 7-day trial, and then you can give us money after that if you like
Look,
what you
sign
hear.
up for the trial and then forget about it and just keep paying us. Like, it's like $5. You're never gonna miss it, and it's gonna help us out a lot.
Exactly.
Like, the reason Brett sounds so good right now instead of sounding like he's in a tunnel is because we spent Patreon money. I don't even know what that is. We spent Patreon money on a little doohickey for Brett's mic.
That's not good. This sounds.
Look at that. He sounds like he's in a vocal booth. There's like no reverb, no natural reverb.
Doesn't this sound so fucking good right now?
And it's just a piece of styrofoam around his microphone. It's insane.
Is this doing anything for you?
It was like $40.
It's making you feel some things.
It's like $40. I'm just saying, like, you're not giving us $5 a month to go like spend on hookers. Like, no. We're using it on productive shit. And actually, we're not using it. It's really just kind of sitting around. Eventually, I'm going to figure out advertising, and I got to watch some YouTube videos on it. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get
and then we'll spend some money on that. Maybe
we're giving you a peek behind the curtain. We probably shouldn't be giving you, but look, this is what this type of content you get on Patreon. But on Patreon, if you give us money, you get to hear it all, man. We pull so much back. There's no censorship. There's no editing most of the time.
That's true. Outside of like private personal information, like phone numbers and addresses, which I always bleep out. God damn it. And damn it. I did it to myself. And I did it on purpose, and I don't even know why. Golly. Anyway, that's it, you guys. I don't even care. That's it. I promised myself I wouldn't drop it. Is the thing. And now
but here we are.
Yeah, and email us if you want. Did you talk about the email, Brett? You said
I did drop the email. Yes. So
I think I was looking something up when you were doing all that shit. I couldn't remember.
I mean, you can find Steven at Chewy Walrus pretty much everywhere.
Steven's got a book too. I haven't read it yet because I have to finish the book I was reading. He finally gave it to me at Christmas. What's it called?
I didn't get a copy, but that's fine.
Well, I bought a copy, Brett, so I don't know what to tell you.
Oh, okay, that's different. I thought he just gave you one, and I was slightly offended.
No. I bought it on Amazon and had it shipped to his apartment so that him and his partner could sign it. So yeah, I did not get this. There was I'm not plugging it because I got it for free. There's no promotion here, but I got it signed, as you can see. From that's
a fantastic
friends.
Signature for an audio medium. Anyway, so that's been us for.
It's called Check In, Check Out. It's on Amazon.
It's pretty good from what I understand. I haven't read it either.
I'm going to get to it, and I'm excited to read it. Like I'm sure as an indie production, there'll probably be some editing errors, but that's just how it goes. We'll see.
We don't gotta go down that. We don't gotta do that. We don't gotta say stuff.
There ain't nothing wrong with it. I'm saying as long as the story's there. I can handle them spelling here and there. Are you
bitch?
Fuck, God, man, Brett. Man, I thought we was friends, man. Damn.
We are friends. I love you.
Damn.
I love you, baby.
That's the 7th timestamp, Brett. The 7th. And I was going into this like we're not going to do any. And only one of them has been dead air, Brett.
The fuck. All right. Well,
Except
anyway,
when I
let's
had to
wrap it up
pee.
then. We're done. We're going to go to bed. It's time to get the fuck out of here. It's
Yeah.
late.
It really is.
So for Tucker, for Steven, wherever he is, you know, what does he say? Until next time, we're not flirting. We're just naturally charismatic.